of station staff, management, and advertisers.
What's up, everybody? A very happy Thursday. Hope everybody had a great Christmas out there. I know I did. I bought 100 Trump Bibles. Sent it to all my friends. No, I didn't do that. Some of you might have, but I didn't do it. Welcome to the show, everybody. You could be watching on the Occupy Democrats Network, the Washington Press Network, my personal YouTube page at PTL Radio Show. We're also on X at PTL Radio Show. We're everywhere. TikTok, Twitch, X, my personal website, pushinglimits.live. Big show lined up for you today. Yeah, I spent some time with family and friends, had a good Christmas. I've had a fun couple days. Went to a Vegas Golden Knights game, went to a UNLV basketball game, just spending time with friends, having fun. It's been a fun couple days, and now we're back in the saddle and back at it. So there are some people on social media that are claiming President Trump saved Christmas. So we're going to be talking to a very popular pastor who has a large social media platform, Pastor Ben Dixon, as to why he disagrees with that assessment, as do I. But before we do this, ladies and gentlemen, former President Donald Trump, in a series of media posts on Christmas Day, discussed a lot of issues, including suggesting that Canada could become the 51st state of the United States, U.S. interest in Greenland, and made unverified claims about Chinese soldiers operating the Panama Canal. So I thought, ladies and gentlemen, we would take this time in this moment to read to you Donald Trump's message to the American people on Christmas. Are you ready? Here we go. Oh, I love the music. Merry Christmas to all, including to the wonderful soldiers of China who are lovingly but illegally operating the Panama Canal, where we lost 38,000 people in its building 110 years ago. Always making certain that the United States puts its billions of dollars in repair money, but will have absolutely nothing to say about anything. Also to Governor Justin Trudeau of Canada, whose citizens' taxes are far too high, but if Canada was to become our 51st state, their taxes would be cut by more than 60%. Their businesses would immediately double in size, and they would militarily be protected like no other country anywhere in the world. Likewise to the people of Greenland, which is needed by the United States for national security purposes, and we want the U.S. to be there, and we will. All right, so there's a lot to dissect there, and that's only part one, by the way. There's going to be part two we're going to be getting to in a moment. Just to fact check the orange orangutan, only 2% of Chinese people identify as Christians. I don't think Donald Trump is aware of that or anything. Canada does have a prime minister, and Panama has full sovereignty over its own territory. Obviously, Donald Trump struggles with the word fact, but then he goes on attacking the left. So now let's go to Donald Trump's Christmas message to the American people on Truth Social, part two. I love this music, by the way. It really gets me going. Merry Christmas to the radical left lunatics who are constantly trying to obstruct our court system and our elections. Unless I win. Oh, he didn't put that in there. I put that in there. And are always going after the great citizens and patriots of the United States, but in particular, their political opponent, me. They know that their only chance of survival is getting pardons from a man who has absolutely no idea what he's doing. Also to the 37 most violent criminals who killed, raped, and plundered like virtually no one before them, but were just given incredibly a pardon by sleepy Joe Biden. I refuse to wish a Merry Christmas to those lucky souls, but instead will say, go to hell. We had the greatest election in the history of our country. A bright light is now shining over the USA, and in 26 days, we will make America great again. Merry Christmas. What a wonderful and positive message by President-elect Cheeto Jesus, the orange orangutan, Donald Trump. So there's a lot to dissect there as well, but I would also say that Donald Trump pardoned murderers and he pardoned rapists. And if you don't believe me, you can look that up for yourself. By the way, if you want to talk about sexual assault and rape, maybe I'm wrong here, but last I checked, Donald Trump is the liable sexual abuser. Donald Trump is the guy who has over 25 women who have accused him of sexual assault or rape. So if you want to talk about rape, maybe Donald Trump should probably be the last person that would talk about that. That's just my personal opinion on it. And of course, you see all these Christmas photos out there, right? The Obamas, a beautiful family. And then you see the normal Christmas photos from the Republicans that all have AR-15s. And then there's Melania Trump. Yes. So if you're a big Melania Trump fan, which I am not, I think she is an awful human being. I think she's just as bad as Donald Trump, maybe even worse because she enables him. And if you haven't bought her book, maybe you've bought her Christmas ornaments that cost about $2 to make in China, and she's selling them for $90. But this was Melania Trump during Christmas, caught on audio, and she wasn't talking about selling her ornaments here. She was actually criticizing Christmas. I mean, this is Melania Trump who's selling all this Christmas crap. Have a listen to her.
Where I am, I'm working like a my ass.
I know.
Christmas stuff that, who gives a about Christmas stuff and decoration, but I need to do it, right?
Yeah, but 100%. You have no choice.
And okay, and then I do it, and I say that I'm working on Christmas, planning for the Christmas, and they said, oh, what about the children, that they were separated? Give me a break.
If you haven't bought her book, it's interesting because Melania is complaining about Christmas, but yet she has no problem going on Fox News, selling her stupid, crappy $90 Christmas ornaments, being the grifter that she is. And by the way, I guess some people are calling her a part-time first lady. She's not a first lady. She's the last lady. She's not the first lady. Melania Trump is the last lady. She is despicable. All she cares about is selling her crap and selling her book and grifting like so many others within the Trump family. She's no different than Donald Trump. Maybe she hasn't sexually abused anybody, but she's no different than Donald Trump in the aspect of Donald Trump selling his Bibles, can't name one passage in the Bible. Oh, it's my favorite book. Really, Mr. President? Can you name us a passage? Oh, no, that's too personal. Because the guy literally hasn't read one passage in the book. How's he gonna remember one? Okay, holding up a Bible upside down. And these morons on social media, these right-wing buffoons out there like Tommy Tuberville, who says, thanks to President Trump, Christmas is back in America. Really, I didn't think Christmas left. What the hell is he talking about? And Roger Stone, who's done this show before, that moron, who said, Merry Christmas to my Christian brother and true friend and patriot, real Alex Jones. Remember the guy who lied about the Sandy Hook shooting? Roger Stone is calling him a friend and a patriot. Two morons deserve each other. And then people on right-wing media saying 50 days ago, Jesus performed one of the biggest miracles in history. He put Donald Trump back in the White House. Oh my God. I'm not an extremely religious person. I do believe in God, but I'm pretty sure if God has a plan, if Jesus Christ had a plan, the plan wouldn't be to put a 34-count felon, adjudicated rapist, back into the White House. So to talk to us a little bit about this, is somebody that I've been following on social media for a little bit. He's a very popular pastor. He has a very large social media following, and he's also seen some of my work, and it's a pleasure to have on. He's known as Pastor Benjamin Dixon, joining us right now on the show. Pastor, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. How are you, sir?
I am doing fine. Thank you so much for having me, Brian. I am certainly a fan of your work. I love how you handle the truth and handle business, my friend.
Well, that means a lot to me. Thank you. I appreciate your work as well. I guess my first question, which I guess is a loaded one, Pastor, is when you see these people on right-wing media, when you see somebody like Tommy Tuberville say, thanks to President Trump, Christmas is back in America, and others that say, Jesus put Donald Trump back into the White House. As a pastor, what goes through your mind when you hear stuff like that?
I'm going to be honest with you. As a pastor, I am required to first, and try to engage in good faith with what's being said to me, what's being presented to me. I try to get underneath the thinking of the people I'm dealing with. Now, Brian, after doing that for the last 15 years, I've come to the conclusion that they are just completely and totally full of stuff that I can't say anymore now that I'm a pastor. But you've said it so eloquently. It is a fake type of Christianity that is predicated on whether or not your politics align with them, no matter how much their politics are malaligned with Jesus Christ. Jesus was an asylum seeker at birth. He was he was persecuted and chased and had to go and seek refuge in Egypt. Now, had Jesus been born today, every single one of MAGA would have opposed his entry or threatened his deportation, and yet they have the nerve to celebrate Christmas as well as say that Donald Trump brought Christmas back. Where did Christmas go? Christmas has the biggest market, the biggest industry. It starts in October. So where is this war on Christmas? You know what? This is the last thing I'll say about it. It reminds me of how most of the Republicans before the election, 75% of Republicans said that they believed the economy was doing bad. As soon as the election was over, Donald Trump has yet to be inaugurated. Now only less than 50% of them believe that the economy is bad. That means their belief system is opportunistic.
Agree. Very well said, Pastor. What do you say to the right-wing evangelicals that buy the Donald Trump Bibles? I mean, like, I'm not an extremely religious person. I'm not a Bible person per se. I'm also not an atheist. But with that being said, how can you vote for a man if you, this is what I don't understand. If you call yourself a Christian, how can you vote for a man who's literally making money off the Bible? Like he has these Bibles made in China, Pastor, for $3. And then in America, they're shipped to America, and he sells these Bibles with Lee Greenwood for like 60 or 70 bucks a pop. I mean, I don't understand. How could people that call themselves good Christians buy this stuff?
Well, you know, if you want a signed copy, an autographed copy, it will cost you $1,000 to get that same Bible. Not to mention the fact that Ryan Walters, who is the superintendent of school, the state superintendent of schools in Oklahoma, used over $6 million of taxpayer dollars to purchase 55,000 copies of this Lee Waters, or was it Lee Atwater? No, Lee Greenwood version of the Bible, the Donald Trump Bible. This is a tribute. This is a financial tribute showing that there are people in this country who will take money that is set aside for taxpayers and present it to Donald Trump through this Bible. Now, to the specifics of the theology and the honestly, the idolatry of this, they have elevated Donald Trump to the status of Jesus. There's even a book, a conservative MAGA book, that says that Donald Trump is the Son of Man, which means that essentially they're saying that he is the second coming of Christ. If they don't know idol worship when they see it, I don't know if they've even ever attended church, to be honest with you.
I mean, I call these people crazy, Pastor. I really do. I think they're lunatics. And I'm not asking you to call them names. That's my job. But I just think these people are mentally deranged. I don't know what else to say, Pastor. But the fact that you have a man, and I use that term man very loosely, who has 5 kids with 3 different women in his life. He's never been faithful to one woman in his life. I know we're all not perfect, but he literally attacks every single person that disagrees with him. You see the way he's treated women his entire life. And a lot of people on the far right like to call Democrats sinners. Yet the guy who they voted for is one of the biggest sinners around. I use the term hypocrisy, right? To describe some of these people.
No, that's the best word for it. Hypocrisy. I think one of the words I was searching for last time in my last sentence was blasphemy. I mean, they sincerely prostrate themselves before Donald Trump. They don't realize, or they don't care. Now, here's the other aspect. Like, I think some of them know, and they don't care, that they have embraced a system that is honestly anti-Christ. I'm not calling Donald Trump the Antichrist. The Bible speaks of systems that operate as an Antichrist system. MAGA is that system, and you have millions of people around the country who are wearing the mark of the beast, the MAGA hat on their head, and it's evidenced by this. Nothing spiritual or super metaphysical about this. They are doing the exact opposite of what Jesus said do, of what the Bible instructs as it pertains to the least of these, as it pertains to immigrants and migrants and asylum seekers, in terms of marginalized communities. They have embraced the exact opposite of the teachings of Jesus. So of course they will embrace Donald Trump at this level as their leader that they put above and beyond Jesus Christ.
So, Pastor, when you hear other pastors, priests around the country or even around the world who say that Jesus brought us Donald Trump, and they say other things that obviously you and I disagree with, I would consider it ridiculous. Do you think they actually believe what they are saying? Do you think they're just lying? Or do you think they're brainwashed, or all of the above? Like, when you hear these people that, have dedicated their lives to preaching the gospel, somebody like yourself, and they say these kinds of things, we're not talking about everyday ordinary people, talking about pastors.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
what do you think is in their heart? Like, do they actually believe that Jesus Christ brought us Donald Trump?
I think it really speaks to some of their limited understanding of the Bible, because there have been plenty of leaders that God brought to Israel, for example, in the Old Testament, that brought about damnation to Israel, that brought about the captivity of Israel. I mean, God brought Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar didn't work out too well for the children of Israel. And so they can say this, but they don't leave. They preclude the possibility that Donald Trump is indeed sent by God to punish America. Now, I personally pray against that idea. I don't like that idea. But if you think God has sent Donald Trump to be something good for America, if the result is something that's damning for America, then you have to also take into consideration that maybe Donald Trump is punishment.
Yeah. I would say he definitely is to a lot of people in this country, for sure. So there is a right-wing evangelical on social media, and don't ask me why, but I read what he was writing, and I want to read you just a little bit of what he said, and I want to get your reaction to this, because this is a guy that's got over 1 million followers on social media. Absolutely. He calls himself a devout Christian. He says the Christmas is possibly the most special one I've ever had, because 50 days ago, Jesus performed one of the biggest miracles in history. He put Donald Trump back in the White House. I say it's a miracle because Trump was almost taken from us in Butler, Pennsylvania. Jesus intervened there too. Now, as you know, a man in Pennsylvania was killed.
That's right.
Several others were shot. Am I led to believe that Jesus didn't want to interfere there with a firefighter, regardless of his political beliefs, who was killed, and he has kids, and others were shot? But Jesus said, oh, wait a second. I'm going to save the life of this liable sexual abuser. Are we supposed to believe that? I don't understand. Help me understand. I don't understand.
It really speaks to the emptiness of their lives. I don't want to, strike too personally, but these are people who have no identity outside of, one, white supremacy, outside of their ability to be greedy. Adam Sewer of The Atlantic said it like this: the cruelty is the point. You really have to pause and reflect on the type of mentality these people have. And now, to that extent, of course, something like what happened in Pennsylvania would look like a miracle to their end, something that says that God has ordained Donald Trump. This is the type of mindset that they have. Do they truly believe it? I'm sure they truly believe it, right? But it goes against everything that the Bible speaks in terms of the kind of person, the fruits that you bear. I'll ask this of any of those preachers: what are the fruits that Donald Trump is bearing? They want to say that they've saved America or saved Christmas. Okay, Christmas was never under threat. What are the fruits of Donald Trump? Well, so much destruction and disaster for so many communities, except maybe for the richest amongst us. It's been a really good time for those people.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Let's talk about white supremacy for a moment, because I do talk about these issues and issues of race a lot on this show, Pastor. Why is it that the right seems to celebrate when a couple like the McCloskeys point their weapons at some Black Lives Matter protesters that were never on their property, and then all of a sudden the McCloskeys are speaking at the Republican National Convention? Why is it that a guy like Kyle Rittenhouse, who should have never been at that protest in Kenosha, 2 people die, a third is shot, and they look up to Kyle Rittenhouse as a hero? In fact, Turning Point USA pays Kyle Rittenhouse to make speeches. And why is it that a guy like Daniel Penny, who I understand was not convicted of a crime, even though I disagree with the jury's, the outcome there, why is it that Donald Trump invites Daniel Penny, who choked a black man to death — that's exactly what happened — to a football game? And the right, embraces people like that, but yet, Ahmaud Arbery's mother. Why not invite Ahmaud Arbery's mother to something? Or what about the black man who was forced to stab another man on a subway who was verbally assaulting him and his girlfriend? Why is it that Donald Trump doesn't, invite those people? Or how about the people in New York City, the 5 people who happen to be minorities, who Donald Trump said deserve the death penalty, and then they were found innocent and they went to jail? Why doesn't he invite those people? Why is it always the Daniel Pennies, the Kyle Rittenhouses, and the McCloskeys that the far right seem to look up to?
You know, without a shadow of a doubt, there's one major tenet of white supremacy, and that's the ability to get away with murder. And I mean, and I don't mean this political murder. I mean actual murder. It is a staple. Just look throughout American history. It is the ability for someone to eliminate a minority and to be above the law as it pertains to any kind of justice. I think that we are moving back towards a time where this type of vigilante behavior is not only approved of, but encouraged. I don't know if you saw, I dropped something in your bin down there for you to share my screen, but I don't know if you saw this image of a MAGA candidate for Congress. I can't remember her name, but this video went viral. She's mocking an execution. She's mocking a public execution. Now she's using as a proxy here any type of illegal immigrant that may hurt someone in the United States. That's her justification for this level of violence that she's promoting that has been retweeted so many times. But here's the thing. It's not just immigrants. It's Black people. It's not just Black people. It's gay people. It's the LGBTQIA community. They are calling for the execution of gay people from their pulpits. And what I'm saying is that we are in a movement, a momentum from MAGA that is pushing us towards this level of public violence. I do not put it beyond the purview of possibilities that we will see actual regimented regimes going through our neighborhoods, the Boogaloo Boys, the Proud Boys. I see these militias as having the desire and the potential and the organizing power to go through our streets again, just like they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921.
By the way, Trump told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. On a debate stage, which is utterly disgusting. Pastor, how do you think it would have went down if Daniel Penny was Black and he choked out somebody who was white, maybe somebody wearing a MAGA hat that was mentally deranged that was white? Do you think Donald Trump would have invited Daniel Penny to the football game if he was Black? How do you think this would have panned out?
No, we've seen what happens when the reverse is true. We saw what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse when he killed two people from the left, two people who were standing up for civil rights. But then we also know the story of Michael Reinhold, and you have to forgive me, I'm not really good with the pronunciation of his last name, but he stood up and took the lives of two people who were a threat to his friend, who was a Black man. And what happened with Michael? Well, Michael was on the receiving end of a Donald Trump order for federal agents to come and not only take him, but to kill him. He was killed. He was killed by federal authorities underneath the command of Donald Trump because he stood up in self-defense in the direction opposite of what Kyle Rittenhouse did. So what does that mean? You can be a vigilante on one side of the equation, but if you try to be a vigilante or self-defense on the other side of the equation, you will get eliminated by this regime.
Unfortunately, I agree with you. I wish I didn't, but I do. If you're just joining us, he is Pastor Ben Dixon, Pastor Ben on social media. Great follow. Please check him out and follow him. All right. So, Pastor, you've obviously dedicated most of your life to preaching the gospel, to reaching so many people on so many different levels. I'm just curious. I'm not saying you would take this opportunity, but if you had the opportunity to, in private, have a conversation with Donald Trump. This is, the man who holds the Bible upside down, who sells the Bible. I'm curious, as a pastor, what, if anything, would you say to him if you had the opportunity?
Boy, let me tell you something here, Brian. That, I think, is the question that I came on this morning to answer. Reserve the right to change your mind. My dad always told me, Donald, always reserve the right to change your mind. Donald Trump has accomplished something historic that will go down in history. He has defeated the political establishment of the United States of America. The United States of America is at Donald Trump's mercy. He has all the power. This is, I clearly don't support Donald Trump, but let's call a thing a thing. He defeated the Clinton family. He defeated the Obama family. He defeated Kamala Harris. He defeated Mitch McConnell. He defeated the entire establishment. The country, democracy is at his mercy. Now, Donald Trump, you could continue to go down the path that got you here, which is subservience to Vladimir Putin, which is subservience to Elon Musk. But you are the most powerful person in the country. Why would you express subservience and fealty to Elon Musk and Vladimir Putin when Vladimir Putin can't even protect Bashar al-Assad in Syria? Change your mind, and instead of destroying the United States of America, protect democracy and do what George Washington did when he had the ability to be a dictator. What did he do in his final speech? He rejected it and he passed power alone. If Donald Trump does that, if he reserves the right to change his mind, he will be greater than anything that MAGA is offering him, than Vladimir Putin is offering him, and certainly what Elon Musk has to offer him. Donald Trump, reserve the right to change your mind and lead this country correctly.
I think that's very well said. Sadly, I don't think Donald Trump will listen.
No, he's not going to listen to himself.
But I think that's very eloquently said. Yeah.
Well, we have to put it out there, right? Because he's going to decide to opt with power, with money, with the elites. But at least we gave him a chance to realize he has a path back.
Very, very true. I mean, in closing here, I look at Christmas photos of the Obama family, and listen, I know there are a lot of Republicans out there that maybe didn't like these policies, but I look at Barack Obama and I look at his family photos. They're beautiful. I think his wife is beautiful, beautiful family. And the first word that comes to mind for me is class, right? I think Barack Obama and Michelle Obama have a lot of class, right? And then I see some of these photos from some of these MAGA Republicans giving AR-15s to their 5-year-olds to hold for a photo. And I posted it on social media. I said, Republican Party, Democrat Party. It's a fundamental difference, right? You don't see Democrats in Christmas photos giving guns to 4-year-olds to hold in a photo, but you see it a lot on the right. They talk about their religion, they talk about their Christianity and their supposed values. Hey, let's give an AR-15 to our 5-year-old to hold for a photo, for a prop. I mean, what do you make of that?
They worship guns more than anything else. They worship the ability, they worship power. And weapons are just an extension of that power. It's their means of getting that power. And so they pass that tradition down to their children as early as 4 or 5 years old. They ignore all of the life that has been taken from it. If you want to look at the common denominator of violence, whether you're promoting violence on the south side of Chicago as if it is somehow statistically more significant than any other city, but I digress, right? They promote guns despite the fact that it is at the bedrock of our children's demise in schools, in accidents at home. They don't care how many children are to the slaughter. They don't care how many children have to die on the altar of the NRA. They're willing to sacrifice them. And so it really just speaks to how depraved this country really is when it comes to weapons.
Yeah. It's so interesting you say that, because anytime I talk about gun control or a school shooting, immediately these MAGA Republicans, many of them who I think are bigoted in nature and racist, they want to talk about black on black crime in Chicago. And I pretty much echo what you just said. I said, I don't care what the color of somebody's skin is, and I don't care whether an innocent person is killed at the hands of gun violence, whether it be in Chicago or a school shooting in Uvalde. Gun violence is gun violence. But instead of coming up with solutions, they just want to talk about, like, for example, when I talk about the January 6th insurrection, they want to talk about Black Lives Matter protest and the violence. And they pivot. And they don't come up with solutions, like they don't, and they don't have a healthcare plan, concepts of a plan. And when it comes to guns, they say, more guns make us safer. They don't have any solutions. And they just want to constantly, if you watch Fox News, which sadly sometimes I have to, I think it's Fox Noise, they constantly show black people committing crimes. If you watch Fox News and Newsmax, they will lead you to believe that black people are the only people in this country that are committing crimes. How often do they show a bunch of white supremacists committing crimes on January 6th? That's got to frustrate you.
Well, we're far beyond the point of frustration here, Brian. If that frustrated me 4 years ago, and thankfully I've had some time to spend with the Lord and really sort through it and not let it get to me anymore. Because here's the thing: you talk about the technique that they use. They will use to colloquy, which is whataboutism. You say one thing, they're going to be, what about this? What about that? No, we're talking about January 6th. We're talking about the fact that you denied that the election was actually won in 2020. We're talking about something specific. They will use that technique. They will also point to what they consider to be the depravity and the problems of the black community. This is exactly what they've done through history. And this is why I said it's really important for us to recognize that they will do it again, because they're leading up to it. How else do you explain the Tulsa race massacre, except they convinced themselves that black people were a problem and they needed to do something about it through violence. The difference between being frustrated and where I am now is that I know their games. I know that it's spiritual wickedness in high places, and I know that we have to oppose it in unity, whether you believe in God or not. And let me just say this before we go. You do not have to believe in God to fight alongside me and to fight alongside Brian and fight alongside so many people who are standing up in this moment. We have different beliefs. We have different politics in some areas. But one thing is for sure, we recognize that MAGA is a threat to democracy as well as our safety, even if Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks doesn't recognize it anymore.
Yeah, well, don't even get me started with him. I've been texting him, and I'm very disappointed with where he's gone. And I believe, just like others on MSNBC, like Joe Scarborough and others, the only reason why he is doing what he is doing, in my opinion, is so he can keep his viewers, get more viewers, and make money. I don't believe he believes anything that he is doing. I want to ask you a question on a lighter note. I want to get your opinion on this, because I don't know what your answer is going to be. I do call Donald Trump names sometimes. I call him, an orangutan, which is probably wrong. It's probably not the right, appropriate way. I call him sometimes Cheeto Jesus. Orange turd is another one. Okay. Some people get angry at me. Some people, even that don't like Donald Trump, get angry at me. And the reason why I call him Cheeto Jesus is because of the people out there that look up to him like he's Jesus. I'm not mocking Jesus. I'm not mocking Christianity. I'm not mocking anybody that's religious. What I am doing is I am mocking the cult, people that look up to him like he's Jesus, and I call him Cheeto Jesus. You being a pastor, would you criticize me for that, which is okay? Do you think it's wrong of me to do, or do you think I have the right to do that?
I know we just met maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
But you should really look at my timeline to see that you're gonna have to work really hard to outpace me in the ridicule. Ridicule is necessary. It is a tool that Mark Twain established very beautifully for us in American politics. These people need to be humiliated and shamed. We must absolutely break their frame. They have had the last 4 years to just reinforce their beliefs without any real opposition. And so they believe these things. And the only way you could break a frame sometimes, Brian, is by flipping a few tables like Jesus did in the temple. So there is a time and a place for us to be civil. There's a time and a place for us to be kind and merciful and to be loving. I believe in all those things. But when all else fails, you better crack a whip and flip some tables.
Pastor, I love you even more now, by the way. We definitely see eye to eye and get along. Before I let you go, and thank you so much for being here, by the way.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Sure, I would, and I look forward to doing your podcast as well. Can you give out that information for my listeners? How do people follow you on social media? How do people listen to your podcast? It's a great podcast. Give out that information for the listeners.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. It's Twitter to me. I was there before Elon Musk. I'll be there after him at Benjamin P. Dixon. And to be honest with you, it's a standing call to action is really what I'm looking for, Brian. A standing call to action for every person. Unless you are an attorney and you can work with Mark Elias and help through democracy and through the courts, unless you are a federal employee and you can help us by holding the line and not retiring, not resigning, not giving up to MAGA. Maybe you're in the intelligence department and we need you to secure American secrets against Tulsi Gabbard and Donald Trump. If you do that kind of work, that's where we need you. But for everyone else, all of us, what can we do? We can get back into the fight on Twitter and break their frame, shake their confidence. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin P. Dixon. You can find me also on YouTube with all the content that I put out.
And I'm getting some texts from some people that say I need to get a right-wing MAGA evangelical pastor to debate you on the air. They want you to debate them. So maybe we can set something like that up. I think that would be very educational and interesting if that's something you'd be willing to do down the road.
I would love to, but they have a tendency of blocking me. They all hide from me. All of the Theo bros,
of course they do.
From the Southern Baptist Church, William Wolf down to Joel Webbin, all of them are hiding from me. So if you could set it up, I'd be more than happy.
I'm going to find somebody. Mark my words. It might take a little bit of time, but I would love you to debate somebody like that. Well, listen, Pastor Ben Dixon, appreciate your time, my friend. Keep up the great work. I'm a big fan of yours as well. And look forward to doing
of your work. Keep doing what you do. Give them hell, Brian. Give them hell.
I will continue, Pastor. As long as you continue, I will continue as well. Pastor Ben Dixon, thank you for your time, my friend. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. I love that guy. I love that guy. That guy just tells it like it is. And if you're willing to criticize other Christians or other people within your religion because of their cultish behavior, I have the utmost respect for you. It's like a Republican that's willing to criticize other Republicans or a Democrat that's willing to criticize other Democrats. So I have a lot of respect for Pastor Ben Dixon. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I do want to open up the phone lines. What do you make of Donald Trump's Christmas messages, attacking the left, lying about people that are Chinese, people that say that Donald Trump was brought here by God or Jesus or whoever they believe in? What do you make of these people? What do you make of Donald Trump's messaging compared to like a Joe Biden messaging or Kamala Harris messaging? So the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation is 702-221-7283. And again, that number, 702-221-7283. So this is a public, I guess you could say, owned show, right? And because of that, we ask for people like you to help support what we do if you enjoy what we do. So the first thing we ask is subscribe to my YouTube page. It's free, at PTL Radio Show. Subscribe. Take you 2 seconds, right? And I have a lot of extra content up there. Check out my website, pushingthelimits.live. So when you go to pushingthelimits.live, we do sell merchandise up there, shirts, hats, T-shirts, and that sort of stuff. I got to find some Cheeto Jesus shirts to sell as well. But if you don't want to buy any merchandise, we also have a donate button there on the front page. So please check it out. Doesn't matter what you can do, whatever you can do, whatever you can afford. We appreciate your support in advance. Pushingthelimits.live. Also, we want to thank, of course, the official gaming bar of the Pushing the Limits radio show. Of course, I'm talking about Jackson's Bar and Grill, my favorite gaming bar in town. I was out there the other day. They are great people there. Brian Sliplock and the gang will take care of you, including the Pass the Puck contest during Vegas Golden Knights games where you could win up to $500 in free slot play. They also give out this month, Mondays and Wednesdays, a free bottle of wine if you earn 300 points. It's just a great bar, a great atmosphere. And oh my God, I had prime rib out there yesterday. It was so good. It was unbelievable. Check them out. Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. All right, your phone call's next. What do you make of the MAGA Republicans claiming that Jesus Christ brought us Donald Trump? It's a little bit of a religious conversation I'm having today about Cheeto Jesus. And I got the okay from the pastor to keep calling him that. So that's awesome. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 120 seconds. You are listening to Pushing the Limits right here on KSHP.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Have you ever dreamed of having your own radio show or a podcast, but just didn't think it was possible? Well, dreams can come true. Radio U. Radio U is a 5-day course that'll teach you how to acquire your dream show. We'll teach you how to host, how to write commercial, how to interview, how to market, how to write a contract, and most importantly, how to monetize your dream radio show. You'll learn from some of the best in the business with over 75 years in broadcast experience. You'll learn from people like me. And the best part? Every single student will be live on the radio as part of the class. Plus, one student from each class will get their very own radio show. You'll be live on the air right here in Las Vegas. Radio U. The 5-day course is being offered at $699. For more information, give Radio U a call. 702-763-5024. That's 702-763-5024. Or check them out at RadioYOU101.com.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helps Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and food. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helps Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits, the day after Christmas. I hope you got your Donald Trump Bibles. That's not blasphemy at all. Like, are there any Democrats out there that are Jewish that are selling the Torah and putting their name on it? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. That's all. Welcome back to the show. We're talking about Donald Trump's message on Christmas, or lack thereof. It was about hate and, again, victimhood and all this other stuff. And people out there on social media saying it's a miracle because Jesus Christ brought us Donald Trump. You got Roger Stone. His Christmas message was calling out and thanking Alex Jones. You've got Tommy Tuberville, that moron, saying, quote, "Thanks to President Trump, Christmas is back in America." It's like, what? First of all, Christmas hasn't gone anywhere. When they say "Make America Great Again," okay, we're going to take America back. These morons on the far right. What the hell are they talking about when they say "take America back"? We've always had America. I'm telling you, these people make America white again. That's really what they're saying. When they say "Make America Great Again," it's "Make America White Again." 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you would like to be a part of the conversation. All right, let's see. Who are we going to first? I believe we're going to William. William, you are first up on PTL. Hi, William.
How are you today?
Hey, good, William. What's on your mind today?
I've been in Vegas for a couple months now, and I enjoy listening to you on the radio.
Thank you.
But there's just one question I have for you.
Okay.
Why do you get mad at people that don't agree with you?
So I would not agree with your assessment or statement. Here's what I will say to that. Okay. I have conversations and respectful conversations with MAGA Republicans every day, sometimes even on this show. If you go on my YouTube page, some callers, 15 minutes I keep them on the line, and we have a respectful conversation. The people that I get,
I've heard that.
Okay, so the people that I get frustrated or angry at that you're referring to are people that lie. I don't like liars. People that mischaracterize or misquote my opinions, say things that I've claimed I've said on the radio that I haven't, and people that don't answer direct questions. For example, when I ask a question like, if Donald Trump didn't lie about the 2020 election, does January 6th happen? It's a yes or no answer, and they don't answer it. 5 times I ask. So I get frustrated with people that are very ignorant, that are ill-informed, and spread conspiracy theories. So you add all those things together, those are trigger points for me because I get very frustrated and I don't put up with nonsense and I call them out for what I think they are, that are very ignorant, ill-informed people that are buffoons. If somebody disagrees with me and they want to call into the show and have a respectful conversation, happy to do it. And by the way, I do that every day, but there are also people every day that call in that are extremely ignorant and bigoted in nature, and I just don't put up with it. That's the best way I can answer that question. Now, listen, I'll say something else, my friend. There are people that have different styles than me. We are who we are, right? And I have a lot of respect for a guy like a David Pacman, very intelligent guy, really nice guy. Brian Tyler Cohen, really nice guy. But I look at what Rush Limbaugh did over the years on the radio, and I think that's far worse than me calling somebody. The worst thing I'll do is I'll call somebody a right-wing buffoon or a moron. That's the worst thing I'll do. Where a guy like a Sean Hannity spreading lies and conspiracy theories, Mark Levin's of the world, and Rush Limbaugh did it for years. He called Barack Obama a Negro on the air. I don't go there, and I never would because I'm not a racist and I'm not a bigot. So yes, I do call people names sometimes, that's who I am. If they say something that is ill-informed and stupid, I just call them out for it, my friend. Does that make sense?
Yes. And one other point I'd just like to make is no one's perfect as a human being. Could once in a while you say that the other side did something okay? I
do it all the time. I did it about Liz Cheney. I did it about Dick Cheney, even though I don't like the Cheneys. There are times where listen, I didn't vote for Hillary or Trump, but I've praised Mitt Romney. I think he's a decent man. I disagree with him on a lot of issues. I've had Adam Kinzinger on this show. I think he's a decent man. There are plenty of good Republicans out there. I've never stated that every Republican is a certain way. I've never painted it with a broad stroke. Now, I have said Donald Trump's base, I think, are a bunch of morons, but there are good Republicans out there. Sadly, there are way too many of them that refuse to call out Donald Trump for anything. But there are definitely Amy Tarkanian is a personal friend of mine. She used to be the Republican chair in the state of Nevada. I think she's a wonderful woman. Haven't always agreed with her on policy stuff, but she certainly has a moral compass and she's a decent woman. So I do praise certain Republicans that I think are decent people, even though I might disagree with them. And Liz Cheney is a perfect example of that.
Okay, and then the one main thing that me and my friend argue about is, do you think some things have to be changed for the better?
I think a lot of things need to be changed for the better. Absolutely. I mean, you'd have to be specific and tell me what specifically you're talking about. But yeah.
It would be more that I don't think people realize that if 20 million people cross the border and stay here for 50 years, how many people do you think that turns into with families? That people don't realize the magnitude.
Well, I think the magnitude would be much worse if you deported those 20 million people. If you really want to talk about the magnitude of it, this country was founded on immigrants. I wish everybody.
Oh no, my grandparents came here from Denmark.
Okay, so there you go. I don't want bad people in this country, right? I don't want criminals, bad people that commit heinous crimes in this country. That would go for anybody, legal or not. But the majority of these people, and I think we would agree, my friend, the majority of these people are not bad people. Donald Trump characterized them as rapists and bad people, and I suppose some of them are good people. No, sir. Most of these people are good people that just want a better life for them and their families. Thank you for your question, sir, and your call. I hope I answered all of them for you, and I appreciate you. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Al. Al is next up on PTL. Hello, Al. What's going on?
Hey, Brian, I'm going to tell you something. I'm very glad that you got a pastor on today and that you're getting closer to God, because I was really ready to tell you off. I've been thinking about you for the last couple of days, because I called you yesterday and I wished you a Merry Christmas, okay, and then hopefully God got closer to you. Okay, and then that I was
Al,
very concerned when you.
Can I ask you? I appreciate your concern. Why would you say I'm closer to God? I'm going to tell you from my personal experiences and where I'm sitting right now, I'm no closer to God now than I was when I was 10 years old. I've remained the same opinion since I was 10. I'm not an extremely religious person. If you want to be religious, I'm not going to hold that against you. That's cool. You're entitled to that. Why would you say I'm just a little confused, and I'm not angry at you.
Okay, because you had a pastor on. You had a pastor on.
A pastor that's a very smart man. Sure.
Okay, that's fine. And let me tell you something. There are a lot of hypocrites out there that are Christians. There's a lot of far right ones. Okay, and the thing is that, and maybe I just don't like the way that you thrash the Bible. And maybe you don't live yourself by that book.
Here's something else. It's not that I thrash the Bible. I need you to listen to me. And this is
okay. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay. So, because I don't agree with your characterization.
Okay. That's fine.
I choose not to live my life based on a book that somebody wrote. Now, if you want to do that, you are entitled to do that. Here's what I do thrash. There's a difference, Al. I thrash the man who you support, who you voted for making money off the Bible. It would be like if somebody made money off the Torah or anything else. He gets them made in China for $3 and he sells them for $60. I thrash, I think that's a bad word, but I criticize people for buying the Bible for $60 and supporting him for selling the book, the Bible. If you want to live your life based on a book, and I think a lot in that book is fairy tales, that's my personal opinion. We obviously disagree, but that's okay. You can do that. It's not me necessarily going, or as you say, thrashing the Bible, as much as people that live their life based on the Bible and then support Donald Trump and don't call out his terrible behavior and buy his book, his Bible for $60. Those are the things that I criticize. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, I don't agree with it, but it makes sense.
What do you not agree with? Tell me what you don't agree with.
I don't agree that a lot of the stuff in the Bible is fairy tale. I think most of it is true, and I think a lot of it's hard to live by. Okay, and let me just tell you one thing that maybe you don't agree with it, maybe you agree, but they asked Jesus. They asked him, what do you think are the most important commandments? Number one, to love God with all your heart
and
love your neighbor as thyself.
And you think Donald Trump does that?
When you start putting your own self-interest, which you could be correct, that, going and selling a Bible to promote your self-interest.
What would be if it wasn't for making, if it wasn't for making money, hold on, Al, if it wasn't for making money and profiting for self-interest, what could be any reasonable conclusion why Donald Trump would be selling Bibles for $60? Can you give me one possibility?
I think that Trump really does care about the country, and
that wasn't my question. That wasn't my question.
He also has self-interest.
Al, hear me out.
I think he cares about both.
Okay, so Al, hear me out. It wasn't.
I know, but don't. Let me finish my sentence, because you always.
I did, but Al, but the question wasn't whether you think he cares about the country. That wasn't the question. You said it could be a possibility of self-interest. Let's talk about Trump selling the Bible. can you give me any reasonable explanation that is not self-interest or selfish about deepening your pockets, why Donald Trump would get the Bible made in China for $3 and sell them in the United States for $60? Can you give me any reasonable explanation other than self-interest?
Well, the thing is that he wants to raise money for his campaign. Because it takes money to run a campaign.
But he's still selling the Bible. He's already elected. He hasn't. Now, after he won the presidency, if he stopped selling the Bible, I would say, even though I might disagree with you, I would say, okay, that's a reasonable answer, even though we might disagree. Al, he's still selling the Bible. He's already an elected official. He could never be an elected official again. He will never run another campaign. So that can't be a reasonable conclusion. Please give me another one. Other than...
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that if he's still selling, I have to go look, and I have to get more information to see what he's
Al, I'm giving you the...
Al, that's all I got to tell you.
He's not donating it to charity. He and Lee Greenland have been making boatloads of money off of selling this Bible. Again, $3 made in China for $60. And I'm telling you...
Is he selling it to me? Is he making money himself, or is he using it for his campaign?
Yes. The campaign's over, Al. I don't know why you... I'm trying not to get frustrated here.
I know, but he might be using it he might be using it to raise money for his there's
no evidence that he's getting...
No, listen, let me finish.
Okay, but I'm telling you, no.
He may be using it to raise money to support other candidates.
He's not.
For the MAGA movement.
He's not. Al,
okay,
I'm answering.
Well, then I have to go look.
So can you agree with me?
Then that's wrong. Yeah, I would agree to that.
Okay.
I would agree that. I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I would agree that is very questionable and possibly
I appreciate your honesty. Let me ask you another
Okay.
question now. I appreciate your honesty. When Donald Trump held up a Bible upside down in front of a church, and the owners of the church said they did not want him there and they did not have permission to be there, when he did that, and when he says time and time again when talking about religion that the Bible is his favorite book, and then in multiple interviews he was asked to read one passage and he couldn't read one passage. As a man who does live his life based on the Bible, I assume you do, what would you make of somebody that uses the Bible as a prop, which clearly he did, and claims it's his favorite book and he can't read one passage or recall one passage in the Bible?
Yeah, I have to look at that. I disagree that anybody that does. I think that even you could at least read one passage.
But I don't. But here's the difference, Al, among many. I don't claim the Bible is my favorite book.
No, that's fine. I know what you're saying.
If I'm going to say,
I think he does know one or two passages.
Well, then why?
I got to look at that.
If he does, then why won't he name one? He claimed as an excuse, it's very personal to me. Anybody with a brain would understand it's because he can't name one passage because he hasn't memorized one passage.
Yeah, well, that's speculation. That's like me speculating that Joe Biden, and I did read some stuff, okay, and I support your point. That's like me saying that Biden has dementia when you're not supposed to be diagnosing people based on something that you think about. Okay, so I disagree with that. Okay,
I agree with you. Where is that coming from? It's not coming from the left. It's coming from the right. They claim he has dementia. They have never given him a physical. They don't know his personal health. I agree with you. All right, Al, I hope you have a great holiday. I hope you have a good New Year's to you and your family. Okay, Al?
All right, Nuki, have a good one. Thanks for taking my call. Bye-bye.
You too. Thank you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Daryl. Daryl is next up on PTL. Hey, Daryl, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, I want to let you know, man, I was just on my phone today and happened to, you sent the message concerning what Trump was saying about what he wanted to do about Canada. And matter of fact, and it led from one thing to another where you had the opportunity to interview Brother Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to let you know, brother, that I'm a pastor myself here in Atlanta. And I also address many of the issues that both of you all address, even though I'm not as noticeable or perhaps maybe have a large platform. But I have been dealing with Trump for the last 4 years, and matter of fact, 8 years, and I've been very critical of his administration and how he has really run this country, really run it down to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been warning the people about Project 2025 to let them know that Project 2025 is their agenda. And yet this Donald Trump said he didn't know anything about it. But as soon as he was elected as being president-elect, now they begin to say, well, it was our agenda all along.
Can I ask you, my friend, I'm sorry to interject. I appreciate you calling in. And I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Pastor Ben, because you're a pastor as well. when he uses the Bible as a prop, can't name a passage in the Bible, sells the Bible for $60, someone like yourself, what goes through your mind when you see that?
Well, to be honest, it's very offensive to me. Person is very offensive because, and then number two is that he has really desecrated the Bible. You should not sell a Bible for China to make it for $3 and then sell it for $60. That's nothing but a prop, and that's something just to try to fill his coffin, because he's not concerned about nobody but himself. I would say that.
Yeah, I agree. I almost feel like he treats Melania Trump like he treats the Bible. I really, by the way, I mean that. He uses Melania Trump as a prop. It's a contractual marriage. She's not even going to be in the White House. She's not going to be a first lady. She can't stand him. And I'm sure if the Bible had a brain, the Bible would not stand him either. But I just don't understand how right-wing evangelicals or anybody out there who calls themselves a person of faith, that could be any religion, a person of faith. It means you believe in something. It means you believe in a higher power. To support a man who has lived his life full of sins, and he brags about the sins that he commits.
Right. Well, one thing, he talks about the mere fact, and I remember when he had went to Liberty University, and he stood before a college students at Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia. He said that he loved the Bible more than anybody else.
Right.
And then check this out, Brian. Then he says, I want you all to turn to 2 Corinthians. There is no such thing as 2 Corinthians. There's a 1 Corinthians, and there's a 2nd. He said, turn to 2 Corinthians.
Because he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a fool. That's why.
Right. So really he can't even quote the Bible, and then he have the audacity to hold the Bible upside down, and you violated the church leaders in Washington by you going before. You was told not to go there.
Can you imagine? Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you another question, because you make a lot of good points there. Can you imagine if a person of the Jewish faith was running as a Democrat, and they held the Torah upside down in front of a synagogue, and then they took a bunch of Torahs, which is the Bible for Jewish people, let's call it for what it is, and this Jewish person running as a Democrat, running for president, was selling autographed Torahs. Like, what do you think the Democrats would put up with that?
Well, not only would the Democrats not put up with it, but the Jewish community would not put up with it. Matter of fact, to be honest, he done lost the election based on that.
I agree.
Because now you disrespect their sacred text. And so I really believe that when someone desecrates the Bible, they have no reverence for the Creator. They have no value of human life, and therefore a very self-centered individual. So I want to leave this with you, Brian. I really want you to check into this. This guy I've been knowing for years. Matter of fact, his name is Steve Hansen. He wrote a book called The Cult of Trump. If you can just pull it up on your computer, whatever,
I will.
and really, he would be a good invite for you to interview.
Sure, I'll definitely look that up, my friend, and I appreciate you listening and calling in, and thank you, Pastor, for your work and what you've done in preaching truth. Yes, thank you, sir. 702-221-7283. Gary is next. Let's go to Gary. Gary is next up on PTL. Hey, Gary.
Hello, Brian. I have to be controversial and pick on Elon Musk and bring up religion, such a topic this morning. If Christians believe that a rich man has as much chance of going to heaven as a camel does passing through the eye of a needle, to make the government more efficient, shouldn't Elon Musk step up to the plate and put his money where his mouth is in the right wing? I mean, why doesn't he just give up $100 billion? He's got plenty of billions, help the homeless, build the wall,
Gary,
save taxpayers a lot of money.
Gary, it's a good question.
Do something good with it.
So, Gary, it's a good question, and we agree, but I think you already know the answer. I will answer it by saying because he only cares about himself and his billionaire friends and his investors. Gary, do you really think Elon Musk cares about you?
That's not the question. I want it out there. Put it out there.
Well,
Where's
I told
the
you,
Democrats? Why doesn't Bernie Sanders say something? Why doesn't somebody say something?
Well, I think
already? He's going to work as
yeah.
Well,
Gary, listen, I try to say it every day. Elon Musk only cares about himself. He cares about his companies and his investors, and he only cares about his bottom line. The only reason why he's supporting Donald Trump, because Trump has literally made him hundreds of billions of dollars already after the election results. He's going to make trillions of dollars. Everything that Elon Musk does is against the personal interest of everyday hardworking Americans, and it only benefits the top 1%, his investors, and his companies. He is a selfish bastard who only cares about himself. The same I would say for a Vivek Ramaswamy or a Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and so many others that associate themselves with Donald Trump. And for those MAGA Republicans out there that think Donald Trump cares about them, go to Mar-a-Lago and take a look at the people that are hanging out at Mar-a-Lago. These are rich, middle-aged white people. Those are the people that Donald Trump associates himself with. They're not everyday, hardworking Americans. The reason why Donald Trump won the election is because so many of those people sadly voted for Donald Trump. He is against his, interest of anybody else but himself. The same thing with Elon Musk. And if people don't understand that or see that, then they are blinded by stupidity. I don't know what else to say, Gary.
I'll just say this. That much money, to me, where's Clinical Carl when you need him? That much money, to me, should be categorized as a mental disorder. Okay.
Well,
I think $100 billion.
Well, I think Elon Musk is extremely insecure, maybe just as much so as Donald Trump. I think they're both mentally deranged, but there's a lot of people out there that are billionaires that I wouldn't say are mentally ill. Some of them extremely selfish and bad people, and some that are good people. Thank you for the call. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you'd like to be a part of the conversation. Debbie is next. What's up, Debbie? How you doing?
Hi, fine, Brian. Listen, I wanted to give my opinion about this megas, what they believe that Donald Trump is Jesus, the calling. I was raised as in a Christian home, and I read the Bible, but these people don't know. They don't read the Bible because Donald Trump is a false prophecy. In the script, there's a bunch of scriptures in the Bible that talks about this. And if they're really true believers that believe in Jesus Christ, they're misled by him. And also, selling the Bible is very offensive. When Jesus was walking in front of the synagogues and there was people selling stuff, Jesus destroyed all that and told them not to do that. So they do not know their Bible.
Oh, I agree.
That they're talking about.
Debbie, very well said. I agree with you. Not only do they not know the Bible, many of these people that claim to be wholesome Christians that support Donald Trump, but they're also very ill-informed when it comes to Donald Trump and his history and his behavior, Debbie. I agree with you. Listen, I'm going to call him Cheeto Jesus every day. And if people don't like it, that's their prerogative to not like it. But somebody we have with us on the line right now does not like it when I call Donald Trump Cheeto Jesus. Let's go to Herb. Herb is next up on PTL. Hello, Herb. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Brian. Merry Christmas to you too, Brian. When you were talking to Al, you were talking about speculating about something, about the fact that, Biden had dementia and thing, and nobody should. You can look at him and see he has some shortcomings as far as his cognitive, being and everything like that. But bottom line is that you speculate almost every day about Trump's relationship with his wife.
Okay, so let's go with that.
All you know is what you hear, what you might
not true.
see
Not
as
true.
far as when
Not
they're on
true.
stage together,
Nope.
anything like
Nope.
You act like you're in the bed with them at night.
Okay,
or
so you
something.
got to let me...
You know so much
Herb,
about their relationship.
Herb, you got to let me address it now. You've said I speculate about their relationship, and now I'm going to respond to what you just said. First of all, I start by going through somebody's history. Donald Trump has 5 kids with 3 different women, and he's already self-admitted.
What?
Okay, let me finish. Herb, you don't like it when I interrupt you. Please don't interrupt me. I let you talk. Hang on the line. Let me answer your question and let me respond. So, if you think habitual cheating and a lifelong history of sexual abuse as being a liable sexual abuser and 25 women that have accused him of sexual assault or rape is so what, you can go ahead and you could have that opinion. But I disagree. I think that matters. I think it also matters that Donald Trump, with one of the women that he had an inappropriate sexual relationship with and then paid her off, self-admitted, she claimed, that Donald Trump said that he hasn't slept in the same bed of Melania Trump in decades. Also, I don't think it's really speculation when you see a man and a woman married. She smacks his hand away in public, refuses to sleep in the same bedroom as him, doesn't even want to be in the White House. And her excuse for it was saying, I need to take care of my son. Well, guess what? Her son's not 10 years old. Her son is a college student living at the university. Okay? So she refuses to live with him. She refuses to be in the same zip code as him. Her body language suggests she won't even kiss her husband on the lips. Nowhere near him. I say that's a contractual marriage, and it's about money. Now, I don't think that's speculation out based on evidence, history, and behavior. So that's the way I would answer that question when I see somebody like Barack Obama and the loving relationship that he has with Michelle Obama. Heck, I'll even go Joe Biden's route. She's by his side. No matter what his health condition is, she's by his side, holding his hand, and they love one another. Just look at the body language. So if you want to say it's speculation, and you want to say that Melania Trump and Donald Trump love each other dearly, and they're in a wonderful, loving relationship, and they're intimate, and they just couldn't live without each other, then you can go ahead and you could think that, Herb, but I think you're a buffoon if you do think that way. And you're wrong.
Brian, okay, so you're a buffoon.
Thank you.
First of all, you've never been married. That's first of all. Every relationship.
Pot him down. So let me just characterize this as your opinion. Because somebody is not married, that means my opinion is not credible, that it's not that it's a loving relationship. Is that your point, Herb? Because somebody is not married, that means they don't have a valid opinion of what they see on TV when Melania Trump won't go anywhere near him and refuses to kiss him on the lips. So Brian isn't married. So because Brian isn't married, he's not entitled to see what everybody else sees on the television where Melania doesn't want to live with him, doesn't want to kiss him on the lips, smacks his hand away. But because Brian isn't married, his opinion isn't valid. Herb, is that your opinion?
Yes, it's my opinion.
Then your opinion makes you an idiot. Have a nice day. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Charles. Charles is next up on PTL. What's up, Charles?
Hey, Brian. It's ridiculous. These people, I don't know whether to commend you or whether to say that you're wasting your time, because I heard a great quote where someone said, arguing with idiots is like playing chess with pigeons. No matter how you win, they will poop on the board and strut around like they won anyway and fly back to their flock.
That's
what they're going to do.
You're right. Herb says because I'm not married, my opinion isn't valid. And I guess he thinks that Donald Trump and Melania Trump, he might be the only person in the country that thinks they're in a very loving relationship.
If Herb's wife treated him like that, I guarantee you he would think she was cheating on him, or he would get divorced. And first of all, if his wife treated him like that, it wouldn't even happen because he doesn't have enough money to have that type of a transactional.
Yeah, that's. But I'm sure she loves him, even though she doesn't want to be in the same zip code. You see, what those people don't understand is that there's a history and there's evidence to prove something. I don't just throw something at a wall. Look at Melania's behavior. Look at the body language when they're together. Look at the fact she won't even be in the White House. She doesn't want to be anywhere near him. And Herb is saying, well, Brian, you're not married, so that makes my opinion invalid, is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's like somebody who says, you don't own a gun, so you can't talk about gun control. I mean, it's just like, I don't understand these people.
But these people aren't scientists, but they can talk about vaccines and everything
else.
They're
in fact, it's such a good point. Selective. Such a good point. These people who have no medical history want to tell you what you should do about vaccines and stuff. Yeah. But then when it comes to Donald Trump's marriage, well, you're not married, so your opinion is
Let's not even talk about Donald Trump. What about Matt Gaetz? Are they really going to excuse all of that behavior and Mike Johnson trying to cover it up?
You know what the next excuse would be? Well, you haven't molested a child, so you can't give opinions on Matt Gaetz.
Oh, that's gross. But they are. They're really disgusting.
They are. You're not going to hear an argument from me, my friend. Happy holidays to you, and I appreciate the phone call, my friend. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. 702-221-7283. One phone line open. Let's go to Vivian. Vivian is next. What's up, Vivian?
Hi, Brian. How you doing today?
Hey, good. What's on your mind?
Merry Christmas also.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, the only person who's watching over Trump is Lucifer. Because that's the dark angel is the only person working and helping him.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the Bibles, I'm going to call them new Baptist people, because anybody who's a Baptist and has been going to the church already have a Bible. So why are you buying a new Bible that's way overpriced when you have a Bible at home that's been handed down from generations?
Vivian, may I ask you something? Can I ask you? Sorry to interrupt. I'm not a very religious person, but am I right when I say in most places you can get a Bible for free?
Yeah.
Don't they give them out in churches? Like, if you went up to your pastor, hey, we don't have a lot of money, we need a Bible.
If you want to buy it, even if you want to go and buy a Bible, it's not going to be that much. You know, it's ridiculous for him to sell the Bible for that, especially a person who has committed every 10 Commandment sin.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the part that totally boggles my mind. And the religion I was raised in, there's no way anyone should be on this man's side,
Vivian,
because he's a sinner in every sense
I
of the
agree.
word.
Vivian, I want to try and make you laugh here. So we have a guy on YouTube who just said something. It might be borderline inappropriate, but I do think it's funny. So, that won't stop me. So somebody who just made a donation too, by the way, his name is Nutcracker. He said, how are Kobe Bryant and Melania Trump similar? They both made fortunes just by playing with orange balls. I don't know. I think that's funny. It's a funny joke. I think it's funny. Okay, I'm glad I got you to laugh. Nutcracker, that's a very funny joke. Vivian, I hope you have a wonderful holiday, and thank you so much for calling. Thank you, Nutcracker, for that great joke. Hey, if you're going to send me money, I'm going to read your joke, even if people find it funny or not. I'll read it most likely, unless it's really inappropriate. I just thought that was funny. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to join the program. Let's go to Jason. Jason is next up on PTL. Hey, Jason, what's up?
All right, let me see if you could see what you think about this. Number one, Donald Trump could have said, Jesus wept, and that would have been a verse that he could have rehearsed. So that's the step part, how he doesn't know the Bible. Number two, why? I think we know women enough. Why would a woman want to be with a man that cheated on her when she was pregnant with a porn star? Why would she want to kiss him or be with him?
Money.
And number three,
Money.
I just want to say to that pastor, amen. Now we know MAGA has the mark of the beast. So I just want to say, what do you think about all that? And most important part, he desecrated the Bible, because the Bible is supposed to be over the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. So that's how he desecrated the Bible more than anything.
Sure.
Other than that, happy holidays. Hope you have a wonderful day.
Happy holidays, Jason. Merry Christmas. Have a good New Year. Appreciate your call. Yeah, the answer is pretty simple. The reason why Melania has put up with it is because she's a grifter, and I believe all Melania Trump cares about is money. She sees the green or the orange turning into green, and that's it. Selling her stupid Christmas ornaments. She says F Christmas on audio, but then when it comes to selling $90 piece of crap Christmas ornaments you could probably get at the 99-cent store, she is a grifter, and she is a horrendous human being. 702-221-7283. Jonathan is next up on PTL. Hey, Jonathan, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Hey, good. What's on your mind?
Merry Christmas. Well, you're a little more informed than me. It's along the lines of how, who, and why can't he be rebutted and all this crazy talk? Whether you're a House of Representatives or Congressman or someone in the administration, why doesn't somebody step up? I mean, obviously, mainstream media won't do it. I know.
What do you mean? I just want to understand. You mean like step up, like criticize and call out Trump? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and ask for facts and things like that
right.
on some of the statements.
Simple answer.
I mean,
Ready? Simple answer. And if
I'm waiting.
So if you're talking about Republicans, they're afraid of him. He has a stronghold over the party, and if they say anything to criticize Donald Trump, they will probably lose power. On the Democrats, I think some of them.
As it is, I understand I understand that part.
Yeah. Now on the left, I think some of them do it quite well. I think most of them do not. I think some of them are very good at it. I think AOC is very good at it. I think there are certainly others in the party that do a good job in holding him accountable. I think they need to be more aggressive, and I think they need to double down, and I think they need to hold his feet to the fire. I think there's way too many Democrats out there that are soft, that are not willing to call out Donald Trump for who he is.
I understand what you're saying, and yes, that is probably the facts of the answer. But I guess what I want to see it done is in a national public forum, which they have access to.
Well, I can tell you, I can tell you that some of them do that. I think Eric Swalwell is another perfect example, right? There are some that do that. Most of them don't. And I hear you, and I'm with you, and I agree with you. Democrats need to be stronger, and they need to call out Cheeto Jesus for who he is. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Carl. Carl is next. What's up, Carl?
Hey, Brian. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. And when people were talking about, you had a guy about selling the Bible and how he believes in it and so forth. Let me tell you something. I just saw on TV yesterday, he's selling $2 bills with his face on it.
Oh, geez.
They took $2 bills and put "Make America Great" in his face on it. The Bible, yeah. Let me tell you something. All these scam things he sells, the Bible to him is just like selling a pound of bologna. All these things he sells are just nothing to him. It's just to get money out of people, to scam people. He's been a con artist and a scam artist all his life, and that's how he operates.
Of course he is.
Whether he's in business or in politics, it doesn't matter. He's done that his whole business career, is scam and con people out of money, and he's doing the same in the government. It's all the same. The man is.
You're not going to hear. You're not going to hear an argument from me, my friend. I completely 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
And Carl, I hope you have a wonderful holiday to you and your family, and I appreciate the call. Thank you, Kim, for the super chat donation. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Maureen. Maureen is next up on PTL. Hi, Maureen. What's going on?
Hi, Brian. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Over the weekend, I saw Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin made cookies out of Trump. You know, there are cookies that look like Trump, rather. You know, the yellow hair and everything. I mean, who would buy those cookies?
I don't know. I mean,
these people are crazy.
I don't know.
And also, I saw that there's so many corporations out there giving $1 million to him for January 20th.
So there's a reason for that. If you're referring to like a guy like a Jeff Bezos, who, by the way, has spoken out against Trump for years. Now, all of a sudden, when he thinks it'll benefit him and his company and it'll help him financially, he makes a donation. Same thing with Mark Zuckerberg, because they're all cowards with no spines. They care more, just like Elon Musk, they care more about their bottom line and their investors than they care about saying appropriate and honest things that will call out truth for what it is and help the American people. They're not interested in that. It's how they became billionaires to begin with.
But it's like AT&T, Uber, and like all these companies. To me, it's like a protection. You know, when the mob goes to different places and says, you know, if you don't give me money, we'll blow up your restaurant.
Yep.
To me, this is the mob.
Well, it's mob mentality. It's mob mentality. Yeah. You're absolutely right, my dear. It's mob mentality. Find me 11,000 votes. Threatening people. You know, outing them from office, even Elon Musk, outing them from primarying them if they don't vote on a stupid bill. We're going to primary you out. It's a mob mentality, also known as a dictatorship. That is exactly what we are going to see for the next 4 years. Make no mistake about it. This is a dictatorship and 4 years of retribution. If you don't believe me, listen to what Kash Patel says every day. So it's so funny because some moron on social media the other day said, you pay people to be on your show. Kash Patel wanted $3,000 to do my show. I put the screenshots on social media. Obviously, I wouldn't give him $1. In the 22 years I've done radio, I've never paid one guest anything, not once, to be on this program. I've had former presidents. I've had first ladies. Jill Biden did this show. I've had rock stars, all sorts of different celebrities. Now I promote whatever they want to promote. Sure. I've never paid one guest to do this program. In the history of this show, I've had 2 people that I can recall. No, 3 people that I can recall that have asked me for money to come on. And Numchuck might have to help me with this because I'm forgetting some names here. But the first guy is Kash Patel. The second guy is the lead singer of Buckcherry, Josh Todd. I didn't even know his name. Some idiot that has a couple songs from like 20 years ago. He wanted to charge me, what was it, $5,000? And the third guy is the kid from A Bronx Tale, and I don't remember his name. He's an actor from The Bronx Tale. He's been in The Sopranos. He went to jail for manslaughter charges. And when he got out of jail, I wanted to talk to him, and he wanted to charge me to be on the show. So 22 years in radio, there have only been 3 people in my life, and I haven't paid any of them. What's his name? That guy right there. No, that guy right there. What's his name? What is that guy's name? I can't read it. What is it? Lilo? Lilo, yeah. Lilo, that's his name. Anyway, thank you, Joseph, for the donation, for the super chat donation. Yeah, those are the 3 people in my life that have asked me for money to come on my show. I haven't given them $1. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Paul. Paul is next up on PTL. Hey, Paul, what's going on? Yeah, it's Lilo Brancato. That's who he wanted to charge me to come on my show. What's up, Paul?
Hey, buddy. Hey, I wanted to say something to Herb really quick before I get to my point. Herb, if you think that Donald Trump, who can't even be faithful to his wife, her parents, before God, can't even not cheat on his own wife, that somehow this guy is going to be faithful to you, you need to see a clinical psychologist, Herb. Get your head checked because there's something mentally wrong with you. These people are nuts. Especially Herb. He fell down the stupid tree and hit every branch on the way down. He's just nuts.
That's a good one.
These people are stupid. But the thing I want to say is when you talked to that pastor earlier today, it was really good. You know what Donald Trump quoted on Christmas? Not, thank you, Jesus. Not, I love God. Not, let's find common ground. He said, Merry Christmas to the radical left lunatics.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And then at the end, he says, in caps, go to hell. So for all of you fake Christians out there who claim to love Jesus, what kind of Christianity is supporting a guy that says go to hell on Christmas?
Yeah.
And this is what Brian's talking about. You people are mentally unstable. You're in a cult. You worship him as if he was Jesus. Jesus would never own an AR-15. Jesus wouldn't tell people to go to hell.
It's true.
Jesus wouldn't call people radical left lunatics. And Jesus wouldn't worry about one transgender member of Congress other than 343 mass shootings in this country. This is why you people are an absolute joke to whatever faith you claim to believe.
Well, Paul,
it's ridiculous,
Paul, it doesn't. Lee Greenwood's going to be very disappointed. It doesn't sound like you're going to be buying a Trump Bible, unfortunately. Jeez, Paul, I do have a joke for you though.
Go for it.
Nutcracker is a very funny guy. He sent us another donation, and he has another joke. So I'm going to read one for you. We all need to laugh. Come on. It's Trump's wedding anniversary in a few days, and in a rare, tender moment, he described the first time he ever laid eyes on Melania and clicked add to cart. It's very funny. I like it. It's a good joke. I like it. We need to laugh during this very strenuous and stressful times, right, Paul? We need to laugh.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does Trump pay the tariff when she's sent in, or does Russia pay it when they send her out?
That's a really good question. I'm gonna have to think about that. That's a really, really good question. Well, listen, I'll get you some Trump toilet paper for the holidays, Paul. I appreciate it.
Oh, God. No, don't do that because it's going to be irritating to me.
Yeah, it'll probably give you hemorrhoids. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. I have no, it's a very valid point. Thank you for the call, Paul. I appreciate you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you do want to be a part of the conversation. All right, who do we have next here? Let's go to Courtney Courtney is next up on PTL. Hey, Courtney, what's going on?
Hey, Merry Christmas. I
Merry
hope it
Christmas.
was a good one.
It was. Thank you.
This whole thing is just insanity with Matt Gaetz. The text, the whole thing. And I think it's perfect karma for him because he also got a gun while he was taking drugs. So are they going to go after him like they went after Hunter?
It's a good point. The only gun that Republicans care about is Hunter Biden's unloaded gun that he had for 13 days. So I agree. I'm very disappointed in the fact that they had an opportunity. When I say they, I mean the DOJ and Merrick Garland, who I think failed this country miserably, okay, had the opportunity to expedite the process before Donald Trump, becomes the next elected president of the United States. Merrick Garland failed this country miserably. He is a coward.
I think he was a Trump plant. Because he looked to have waited almost 2 years to even prosecute for staging a coup attempt?
No doubt. This is about money. This is about power. If we did any of the things that Donald Trump has done in his life, pick or choose, we would be in prison. You look at people who, they expedited their cases really fast. Michael Cohen, look at how fast he went to jail. Even a guy like a Steve Bannon who had to go to jail. But yet Donald Trump, the liable sexual abuser, the guy who defied a subpoena for a year and Merrick Garland sitting on his ass doing nothing. That guy is disgraceful. So if Republicans want to go after Merrick Garland, let's all go after Merrick Garland for being the disgrace that he is. I don't care whether you're on the right or the left. It's a joke.
Yeah, I agree with you there because I read that they were going to go after Merrick. I don't care because he is going to go down as the greatest traitor in American history.
He deserves it. Go after him. He deserves it. Thank you for the call, my dear. Have a good holiday. Appreciate you. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. I'm looking for some new jokes on YouTube. I'm looking for people in the super chat for some new jokes. I enjoy reading them. Let's go to Donatella. Donatella's next up on PTL. Hello, Donatella. Donatella, are you there?
Hi, I'm here.
Okay, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Okay, well, I just wanted to bring this subject up because I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep,
yeah, I'm here.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, I was going to tell you or mention something about this series that was relating to a lot of lawyers, big law firms, several years, like on the 16th, in 2016.
Yes.
And you would not believe how much how much they talked about Trump there in that particular show. And it was really disgusting. I mean, and all the stuff that you never thought anybody ever thought. They had no fear. They were on the air, probably ABC. And they did a great job of exposing everything and talking about Melania getting that Einstein visa because she was a model. And based on that one ugly photo that she had, a nude shot.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, that's just absolutely wacko.
You know what's interesting? If women want to pose naked and women want to do things that are legal, I have absolutely no problem with it, so long as they're not committing any crimes. But I do find it interesting. I find it interesting that some on the far right, these MAGA misogynistic buffoons, remember when they were calling Kamala Harris the whore, slept her way to the top? Why? Because 30 years ago, she might have had a relationship with Willie Brown. We don't even know if that's confirmed or not. And they called her those names, a happily married woman in a real loving relationship. They love each other. Clearly they do. And she's a good mom and a good wife. But yet when it comes to Melania Trump, you never heard that about Melania, slept her way to the top. You never hear that from the right? Mm-hmm. Melania Trump, what a classy first lady.
She's intelligent and very beautiful.
Yeah, so beautiful and intelligent. Let me tell you something. Inside, I think she's ugly. She's ugly as can be on the inside. Let me tell you something, and I don't care what she looks like on the outside. She is known for a couple things. Building tennis courts at the White House. Who gives an F about that? And caring about the rugs and the toilet seats in the White House. Meanwhile, when January 6th was going on, she wouldn't even put out a tweet to stop the violence because she's an utter disgrace, and Melania Trump is one of the worst human beings you can ever ask for. She is just an awful human being. And if you had it my way, I would deport Donald Trump and Melania Trump and put them in a 4x4 cell for the rest of their lives.
Well,
That's what I think they deserve.
It's terrible that these people, they think they're going to.
It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful, my dear. Thank you so much for the call. I appreciate you. Nutcracker has another joke for us. I have to read it. I feel like I'm forced to now. What does Melania Trump do after... Okay, I don't know if I could read this, so I'm going to have to be very careful with the way I read this. What does Melania Trump do after she shaves? She powders his cheeks and sends him off to play golf. Okay, I think that's what I can't read the whole thing. I have to be careful. It's a funny joke, but I have to be careful. We have to be PG-13 here, ladies and gentlemen. At least I try to be. Trust me, I'm just as immature as the next guy. 702-221-7283. Shantasia is next up on PTL. Hi, Shantasia.
Hi, Brian. I wanted to say thank you for the jokes. They're very funny. But my whole point is calling about the Panama Canal. Panamanians don't like Trump. They took his name off the buildings that were there, and now he said he's going to go in and try to take it back over. I don't think he understands the history of it.
They have full sovereignty over their own territory. He's so stupid. I don't even think he knows that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even think he knows the history behind it. I mean, they had a French ambassador who played the United States pretty much and Panama at the same time, and then gave Panama what they wanted to break away from Colombia. I mean, I just don't really think he understands anything about history.
He doesn't.
It's sad that we have him again yet for another 4 years with a slut wife. I mean, I'm sorry. I know we have to be careful what we say. With a wife who is extremely promiscuous, and Russia sat up there and put out her pictures, and that wasn't even a big issue. I just don't understand this.
Did you see speaking of which, did you see when Melania Trump met Justin Trudeau and the look she had in her eyes? She looked like she was in love with him. Tell me one time that Melania has ever looked that way to Donald Trump in any way. She despises him and she hates him. She won't be anywhere near the White House.
And we're going to see a lot of her rhetoric now, especially towards him, since he put her back into the White House.
You know what I think's going to happen, and you can tell me if you disagree. The day that Donald Trump passes away, and I'm not wishing for that to happen, but the day Donald Trump passes away, I think she's going to wear a jacket at the funeral that says, "I don't care, do you?" Yeah. That's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong on that.
I agree. I agree. You're a
you.
very intelligent man, and I totally agree with you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for giving us information and great context. It's really appreciated.
Thank you. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate you listening to the show and calling in. Thank you, dear. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Lou. Lou is next up on PTL. Hi, Lou.
Hey, Brian, make America grift again. Just back from the Mediterranean. Just had a cruise from Roma to Barcelona. And you know what? Every tour guide I spoke with, they totally disliked Trump. Totally.
Well, it's interesting you say that because whether I'm at the poker table or meeting different people from all sorts of different backgrounds, people from all over the world come to Las Vegas. That's where we do the show. And I ask people all the time, I say, what do you guys think about Donald Trump? And usually, not all the time, but usually the answer I get is they laugh and they say he's an embarrassment. He's an embarrassment to you guys. And that's unfortunate. We don't want somebody in office that's an embarrassment. And I'm not talking about gaffes, right? I'm not talking about, Joe Biden gaffes. I'm talking about the things that Donald Trump just puts on Truth Social on a daily basis. He's an embarrassment to the world. He's an embarrassment to the country. And quite frankly, I'm embarrassed that all these people voted for him. I really am.
Well, I was at the gym this morning and Fox News was on, and the grift keeps on grifting. They're trying to grift a $2 bill now on sale from $39.95 to $19.99 with Trump's face on it.
Why am I not surprised?
Unbelievable.
Donald Trump is the kind of guy that would sell you a dollar bill for $20. I mean, this is who he is, right?
Right.
Again, we can go back in time with some of these Republicans that have been wearing the Donald Trump knee pads. Marco Rubio. I agree with Marco Rubio back in the day when he was running against Donald Trump for president. Do you remember, my friend, when Marco Rubio said, if Donald Trump didn't get a $500 million company handed to him by his dad, he'd be selling fake gold watches in Manhattan? You remember when he said that?
Right. Correction, no, Brian. It was $460 million.
Ah, okay. I was a little short on that one. My
Yeah.
apologies. My apologies.
Right.
And when these morons say that he's this wonderful businessman, how many of his businesses have gone down the toilet? His Trump water, his Trump steaks, his casinos, the Taj Mahal, for example, all these businesses that went bankrupt, all the businesses of his that went bankrupt. And we're supposed to be led to believe that Donald Trump is this incredible businessman. I mean, it's so laughable to me. I mean, listen, Elon Musk knows how to make money. He might be a selfish prick, but he knows how to make money. Donald Trump knows how to steal money from people. His kids know how to steal money from his charitable foundations, right? They're thieves. Jared Kushner knows how to get $2.1 billion from the Saudis. Ivanka knows how to make hundreds of millions of dollars from the Chinese government in trademarks. They're thieves, these people. That's what they are.
Make grifting great again.
There you go. I might sell that shirt in the new year. Thank you for the call, my friend. I appreciate it. 702-221-7283. Again, 702-221-SAVE. I'm looking for some more jokes. I haven't seen any. If I see some, I'll read them. Let's go to Jeff. Jeff is next up on PTL. What's going on, Jeff?
Hey, Brian. How are you?
Good. What's on your mind today?
Good. I got a book recommendation for you, and then I got to talk about the right-wing pastors who you can hopefully get to debate the pastor from earlier. But sure. The book is called Anti-Democratic by David Daly, and it's inside the far right's 50-year plot to control American elections. And I think it will be very beneficial for people to understand how long this has been going on, how deep it is, and what has happened to us. But anyway, the right-wing pastors who you can find, they're just going to say to Herb and to Al that the Bible tells us.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Jeff? Jeff, you cut out, man. You can call back and we'll try to get back to you. I'll get to some other callers. I think we lost you there, Jeff. Sorry. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Again, that number, one phone line open, 702-221-7283. Let's go to Jack. Jack is next on PTL. What's up, Jack?
Hey, Brian. That was God that interrupted that phone call there.
It must have been. Must have been Jesus.
Listen,
yeah.
I watch 2 programs on YouTube. It's the PTL, and I watch the Atheist Experience. And I realize it's for the same exact reason. Both sides will you'll have Republicans call into your show, and without a leg to stand on, they'll try to defend things with no proof, no evidence of anything. They want to cherry pick, and it's just extremely similar to the show that I watch with Matt Dillahunty and people calling in and trying to make a case for religion. And I like you, Brian. I don't want this to bear on anything, but it's just when people say let's have a pastor call in and have another somebody from the right wing call in and debate or whatever. Right. I mean, there's so many different religions that I prefer you have somebody from the Atheist Experience call in and debate the pastor or whatever. Like the book, for the same reasons why we hate the MAGA right, because of their bigotry and their hate. It's the same thing that if these people read the Bible and read the Old Testament and New Testament, these books advocated for slavery. They've advocated for genocide. They've advocated for just hatred based on not being that religion. Yeah. And it's just,
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
And I know you stay neutral and you say I was a Catholic for all my life until I got sick.
Right.
And I started to really read the Bible. And when you read the Bible, you realize he ain't there, man. Like it's just.
Listen, I hear you, my friend.
Unbelievable as Santa Claus.
Well, listen. I hear you. I'm not going to be neutral now. If people want to live their life based on the Bible, they have the right to do so, but don't tell me what to do. I can give you my opinions. I think it's a fairy tale book. It was a book written by at least one human being, and I believe people make it out to be a book that was written by some supernatural character. It could be the Tooth Fairy. So That's my personal opinion. If you believe in the tooth fairy, you probably believe in the Bible. If people want to believe in the tooth fairy, they have the right to do so. Don't push your beliefs on me. But don't believe in the Bible and call yourself an ultra-religious person and a person of faith and then support a 34-count felon liable sexual abuser. Then you have zero credibility. Simple as that. Simple as that. All right. Got to read another joke here. I'm enjoying this, by the way. Thank you, Winsaloft, for your donation. Winsaloft, I can't take credit for this joke. He says, did you hear J.D. Vance is in legal trouble after his love seat filled sexual, I think it says sectional, but I think he meant sexual assault charges against him. That's a funny joke. As we know, J.D. is sexually attracted to couches. So it's a funny joke. 702-221-7283. I'll tell you what, let's go to Pam. Pam is next up. Let's go to Pam next. Hey, Pam. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
Brian.
Hi.
Hi, Brian. Happy holidays. I just have a quick question. Did
Sure.
you ever get the chance to watch? It's just a short documentary, Bad Faith.
Okay, so with my ADD and my forgetfulness, I must be in the bunker. I'm going to need you to email me. Can you do that for me?
I have emailed you in the past.
Shoot. Oh, shoot. Well, then that's my bad.
I've
That's my
called
bad.
numerous times, and other people have also suggested that you watch. It's a documentary.
I will watch it.
You're gonna love it.
That's
It's
my
called
okay.
Bad Faith.
Then that's my New Year's resolution. I will do it, Pam, and I promise
And
you.
if you enjoy it, which
Yes.
I'm sure you will,
Yes.
there's a short mini series called The Family on
Okay.
Netflix.
I will check it out.
It explains this has been in the planning for over 50 years.
I believe
links
it.
to all the corporations,
Yeah.
the Turning Point, the Koch brothers, on and on. It
Wait, the
literally
Koch-
puts it up
the
there
Koch
in
brothers.
diagraphic.
The Koch brothers. So you're talking about Eric Trump and Don Jr. I'm sorry. That was a terrible joke. It's a terrible joke. Thank you, Pam, for the call. 702-221-7283. I need to let Jeff finish his call because he kind of lost reception there. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. I'm not sure what happened. But anyway, these pastors who you will get to debate, they're just going to say to Herb and to Al that the Bible tells us that God picks imperfect people to lead. So these Bible thumpers can justify anything in their own minds to grift in the name of God, to shill for President Musk's bottom bitch, Vice President Trump. Now, they are true believers, like Martha Ann Alito flying her appeal to heaven flag. Hear me out, Martha Ann. I just received a message from God. Your appeal is denied. And it turns out that when your neighbor called you, see you next Tuesday, I think she was right.
I think I agree with you on that one. Listen, I woke up this morning. It was a glorious day this morning, and I spoke to God, and God told me that Donald Trump is a liable, sexual abusing, 34-count felon scumbag. I mean, listen, don't blame me. I'm just the messenger here. That's what God told me, right? God told me this country's in a lot of trouble. Okay? That's my Bible. My Bible told me that we shouldn't have leaders of the free world that have 30 women that have accused him of sexual assault or rape. My Bible tells me that we shouldn't have felons in any office. My Bible tells me that guns are more of a threat to children than drag queen reading. That's my Bible. What are you going to say about that? You can take your Trump Bibles and you can shove them up your ass. That's my Bible. I'll take my Bible over any Trump Bible any day of the week. 702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. Again, 702-221-SAVE. Let's go to Julie. Julie is next up on PTL. What's up, Julie?
Hey, I've been trying to get in with you. There's been some incredible shows you've had.
Well, thank you. I
Good
appreciate
Lord.
it. Thank you. What's on your mind today?
I'm kind of speechless with people like Herb and all them. It's
Yeah. Well, Herb makes me speechless as well. And listen, people are always welcome with different opinions to call into this show. The problem that I have with some people is that when they call into the show, they mischaracterize one of my opinions or one of my quotes. They misquote me. They're extremely hypocritical, and they say things that are very stupid. You know, it's so he made the case that because I'm not married, I can't speak to Donald Trump's marriage with Melania Trump. That's like saying I can't call out sexual assault because I've never been sexually assaulted. Now, obviously, you would call that person an imbecile, right?
Which they are.
Anybody with their eyes can see that Melania probably hates Donald Trump more than I do. That's a very high bar.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I may not be married. I may been single for years, but I can tell that Melania hates Trump.
Yeah, just look at the body language.
No denying it.
Right. Look at the body language. Look at Michelle and Barack when they kiss each other at the Democrat National Convention. Look at Joe Biden and look at his wife. And especially, you know, I've always said this about Joe Biden. I have my criticisms of him, but I've always said this about him. I think he's at his best when he's showing empathy for others and when he talks about loss. Like when he talks about what a horrible situation, losing his son, Beau, who was a hero, losing his first wife and daughter in a car accident. Like when Joe Biden talks about that stuff, he resonates with people. And to Donald Trump supporters, when Donald Trump attacks transgenders, that's when he resonates to his people, his base of idiots. That's the difference,
With
right?
his hatred.
Yeah.
He has no love for anybody. He only cares about himself.
I agree with you, my dear. I agree. It's evident. Well, I'm so glad you called in, and it's good to hear from you, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday, my dear. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Again, that number, 702-221-7283. I do give out the number a lot on this show, almost every call, and people still ask me, what's the number? Mind-boggling. They must be MAGA supporters. All right, let's go to Scott. Scott is next up on PTL. Hey, Scott, what's going on, man?
Hey, can I get that number again?
There you go. There you go. What's on your mind, my friend?
Oh, no. Hey, I'm just wondering. I didn't even know Herb called today.
He did.
You're kind of like the Dr. X to his Magneto. He always tries to take you down, and you always come out on top.
Well, you know, my goal in some of these conversations is not necessarily to come out on top, but hopefully maybe to reach some of these uneducated, ill-informed people with facts. Now, if somebody has the opinion, Scott, that Donald Trump and Melania Trump are in a very loving relationship, and Melania Trump just is not going to be in the White House because she needs to take care of her 18-year-old son, then you have the right to have that opinion. You also have the right to have the opinion that the earth is flat. But when Kyrie Irving said that, I called him an idiot. I think Kyrie Irving is an idiot who happens to be an extremely gifted basketball player. Yeah, I think if anybody out there sees the body language of Melania and Donnie and think that Melania wants to go anywhere near this man, then they're idiots. I don't know what else to say. They're idiots. She doesn't even want to be anywhere near this guy. Think about all the benefits you have of being in the White House. Think about that for a moment. Think about it. She doesn't want any of that.
Getting rated to first class in life.
Yeah. Yeah. I would ask like Stormy Daniels, was it really worth $130,000 for the 15 seconds of fun he had with you? Like, was it worth it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know what her answer. I would say she might say yes, she might say no. I don't know. Not that Stormy Daniels is the most credible person in the world, but I don't know, man. I just think we're living in some weird times.
Well, we definitely are, but I see just what with callers like Herb and anyone else that's like hyper MAGA, the amount of bending and twisting and concocting themselves to defend the gentleman. I don't know. You know, they could twist themselves into their own fantasy reality. And it's kind of sad in a way.
It is very sad. You know, if I look at some moron like a Ted Cruz, obviously he's got no backbone and he's a scumbag, but we know why he's doing this. He's kissing the ring of Trump so he could remain in power. My question to these MAGA morons out there is, why do you continue to twist yourself into a pretzel? If you're not running for office and you're not in the Republican Party trying to remain in power, why do you continue to make excuses? I'm not defending Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio. They have no backbone. They're cowards, but we know why they're lying, and they're doing it so they can remain in power. Why are you doing it? Thank you for the call. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Rose. Rose is next up on PTL. What's up, Rose?
Oh, hi, Brian.
Hi.
I just wanted to call in and say thank you for your show. I enjoy it very much.
Thank you.
And kind of a new member.
Oh, cool. Well,
and,
thank you.
I just wanted to Yeah, I just wanted to know if Herb is on the herb. Thank you.
I don't know. He might be on the MAGA herb. I don't know. That's a really, really good question. He's on the MAGA juice. God, I can make a really awful joke with that, but you know what? I'm on an FM/AM radio station. I can't do it. It had something to do with MAGA juice and Herb wearing Donald Trump knee pads, but I would never make that joke. 702-221-7283 is the number to call. Let's go to Shelley. Shelley is next up on PTL. What's up, Shelley?
Hey, Brian. I had to tell you something happened to me
Uh-oh.
over Christmas.
What's that?
I have seen the light.
How so? Explain.
Well, Donald Trump said that he was chosen by Jesus. And I've seen that. I saw that. I'm a prophet. You know I'm making a joke, right?
No, I mean, I get a lot of crazy calls. I mean, Shelley, I got to be honest, you had me there for a moment. I thought that you were a MAGA supporter that believed that Donald Trump was chosen by Jesus. I'm actually very disappointed. I was hoping that you were being serious, but no. But Shelley, here's the crazy thing. Shelley, here's the crazy thing. There are millions of people in this country that actually they believe what you just said. They believe it.
I know. I had to do that to you.
You got me, Shelley. I thought you were.
But I never thought you'd fall for it.
Well, you know what? You hear some of the crazy MAGA callers that call into this show, so why wouldn't I?
Yeah,
but, Shelley, you got me there, but I appreciate the call. Thank you. Thank you, Shelley. Praise the Lord, Jesus. Donald Trump is our president. Praise the Lord. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Julie. Julie is next up on PTL. Hey, Julie, what's up?
Hey there. Well, I wanted to call because I actually have something nice to say about Melania, which may not be popular, but overall, she's a crappy, and this is, you're going to get punch and then cookies. Overall, I think she's pretty much a money-grubbing
yes.
wannabe.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
But on one hand, I appreciate that I think she protects Barron.
Well, I'm not going to disagree. I'm not
kept him aware.
I don't think she's a terrible mother. I've never attacked her for her motherhood. You know what I mean? I don't disagree with you at all.
She's a crappy first lady.
Yeah,
she has no business in the White House.
I think
Trump has no business with women.
I think you could still be a horrible human being and still be a good mother. I think that's possible, right?
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah. You might be surprised. I don't disagree with you. I haven't seen anything that would lead me to believe that she's this horrible, terrible mother. I don't. When you look at Eric Trump and Don Jr., I could probably go that route. Yeah. But I don't disagree with you, my dear. Thank you so much for the call. I only have time for one more call, and I only have about 1 minute for it. Let's go to Wayne. Wayne is next. What's up, Wayne?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's on your mind today?
Well, I was just wondering what you think of Elon Musk being involved with Donald Trump. I'm just very concerned that what he's trying to influence Trump. I'm not a Trump supporter by no means.
I'm going to give you an analogy, and thank you for the call, my friend. I'm sorry I'm up against the clock, but I am going to answer your question. So think about you're a kid, you're trying to try out for the JV boys basketball team, and the coach of the team is sleeping with somebody that's trying to make the team who isn't half as good as you. And the coach ends up choosing that unathletic kid over you because the coach is sleeping with his mom. That is a very minute analogy to what Elon Musk, he's sleeping with Donald Trump in a metaphorical sense so that he makes trillions of dollars and his businesses benefit and his investors benefit, and everybody around him benefits. Elon Musk is the guy that's sleeping with the basketball coach so that his son or daughter can make the basketball team. Get the analogy? That's the best way I can answer that question, my friend, and I appreciate the call. I am so very grateful during this time. I don't say this lightly of where this show has gone in the last year, the listenership. I feel very grateful for all of you. for allowing me to do what I love to do. So I want to say thank you to all my listeners, even if you're a MAGA supporter. Thank you. Our YouTube has been killing it with so many subscribers every day, and I really appreciate you, the listenership. So I'm very grateful. Please check out my website if you enjoy the show and enjoy what we do. Pushingthelimits.live is my website. You could buy some apparel on there. Maybe if some of you have some T-shirt ideas, I will entertain those ideas. We sell T-shirts on there, shirts, hats, beanies, and if you want to make a donation on pushingthelimits.live, you can. Of course, the official gaming bar of Las Vegas, Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. They have the Pass the Puck contest, which is my favorite. You can win up to $500 in free slot play during a Vegas Golden Knights game. I had some great prime rib there yesterday, by the way. Oh, so good. Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones. Check them out. I appreciate all you guys. I want all of you to be safe. I'll be back tomorrow. In fact, we plan to be on the air every day, right? So yesterday we took the day off. Tomorrow, before I go, there is a chance that Donald Trump might be joining us to start the show tomorrow. I was told by his people, I'm in contact with them, that I might only get 5 minutes with Donald Trump. But if he does join us tomorrow, you're going to want to be here at the beginning of the show. That's right. Donald Trump may be joining us on the show tomorrow to start the show. He might be giving me 5 minutes. You're not going to want to miss that. So we're going to take a 22-hour break. We'll be back for you live tomorrow. Check out the website, pushingthelimits.live, the YouTube page at PTL Radio Show. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great day.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino.